everyone. Good day, ma'am. Today I'm going to discuss or report about a theory that revolutionized our understanding of how children learn. Yes, it's a theory of Gian Piaget. I know and we know that this theory ain't new to our ears since we already had this lesson in our previous year. And I hope you still got the knowledge. So before we proceed, let's first identify our learning outcomes for this lesson. First, after completing this lesson, you will be able to explain terms and concepts associated with Piaget's cognitive theory. Second one, discuss the stages of cognitive development. And the third one, and the last one, is identify teaching strategies that are supportive of Piaget's theory. So after discussing this lesson, so at the end of this discussion, we will be able to know why do we need to learn this theory. We'll recall about the stages, the concepts and terms, and of course, we will know what is its importance in facilitating learner-centered teaching. So now let's get started. Next slide. So when we hear the word cognitive, what comes to our mind? What comes to your mind? Diba, it links to mental processes. Since it involves mental or mind, of course we can think and remember, right? Thus, learners are viewed to learn by using their brains. So going through on this report and a brief overview, imagine a child like learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, but with each attempt, they gain a deeper understanding of their body and the world around them. So this is what Piaget's theory is all about. Piaget believed that children are active learners, so meaning Annie, they don't just passively absorb information. They actively construct their own knowledge through interactions with their environment. So in cognitive theory, dili lang kayo maka-learn og new information ng mga children, but makakonstruct sad sila og knowledge based sa interactions sa ilang palibot. And ang development ani na theory is nag-agi og different stages. Moving on. Next slide. Who is Gian Piaget? Let's get to know him first. Gian Piaget, born on August 9, 1896 at Neuchâtel, Switzerland, and died September 16, 1980 at Geneva, was a Swiss psychologist, so he came from Switzerland. To make a systematic study of the acquisition of understanding in children. He is thought by many to have been the major figure in 20th century developmental psychology. So why? Why is it that siya man ang considered or thought as the major figure? It's because he was the first to study how children learn in a systematic way. So as I've mentioned, he developed a theory about the stages of cognitive development, which helps us understand how children's thinking changes over time. His work also influenced how we teach children and think about learning. So very amazing, right? Next slide. To add, so if we're going to compare this theory to the other theory, so what's the difference? So if we're going to compare it to Vygotsky's social cultural theory, so in cognitive development theory, what does it focuses? Well, it focuses on how children actively construct knowledge through stages. While on the other hand, Vygotsky's social cultural theory emphasizes learning through social interaction and language in cultural context. Excuse me. In simple words, Piaget sees development as mostly self-driven, while Vygotsky highlights the importance of guidance from others in learning. So, in Piaget's theory, children learn through interactions to environment. And in Vygotsky, nag-focus siya sa learning, which is na older or tutor na mag-guide sa children. And of course, one of the important concept adto sa socio-cultural theory is the scaffolding. Next slide. What is cognitive development theory? In his theory of cognitive development, Jean Piaget argues that children's cognitive development is influenced by biological maturation and their interaction with the environment. Children undergo a similar order stages of development. Owing to various circumstances, the children are exposed to the rate at which children go through the stages differ. So some children may even miss the later stages of cognitive development. So it means that ang mga bata is same sila og order of their development, but in some cases, since their experiences are different from each other, their development also differs. Next slide. In simple terms, Piaget's theory means that children learn by doing and experiencing. They don't just absorb information, instead they actively build their own understanding of the world by interacting with things around them. So it means that, for example, a baby might learn about objects by grabbing them, kanang ilang kwaon or tasting them and exploring their different textures. So as they grow older, they might learn about numbers by counting or maghihap, counting toys or colors by identifying different objects. This hands-on approach makahelp sa mga children to develop their thinking skills and problem-solving abilities. Now moving on, we have this important concepts to remember about this theory of Piaget to explain how cognitive development happens. So first, we have the schema. So schema is a knowledge structure that allows organisms to interpret and understand the world around them. So in short, they help us organize and understand the world. Why? Why is it? Piaget said schemas are like mental boxes in our brains daw. So each box holds information about a specific thing like dog or car. So these boxes help us organize what we know and understand new things. It's like having a mental map according to Piaget. For example, a child's schema for a dog might include like furry, 4 legs, barks, and wags its tail. It means that mao ni siya atong knowledge about a certain thing. Ang child is naay knowledge nga mo bark or naay ikog ang iro. Mao ni siya ato ang existing knowledge. So gets. Next is important concept is the assimilation. Assimilation is the process of taking new information into existing schemas. So, for an instance, when a child sees a cat for the first time, kana makita sila og iring for the first time, they might call it a dog because it fits their existing schema. So, di ba ang schema is ang existing knowledge. So, in assimilation, when a child is makakita og cat, they might think of it as a dog because na sila same features like tail, ikog, or naiupat ka tiilang iro. So, that was assimilation. Next is accommodation. What is accommodation? Accommodation involves changing or altering existing schemas owing to the new information provided or learned. So, the is when we modify our existing schemas to accommodate new information. When the mother explained that dogs bark but cats meow, the child accommodated the new experience. Thus, a schema for cats was created. So, pag nakaibaw ang bata nga meow ang cats and don't bark, dili mo bark, they created a new schema for cat. So here, see and read the attached picture for more understanding about these important concepts. I'm going to attach it here. So, the girl has the schema for dog because of her book, and then when she saw cat, She calls it a dog. And when her mother tells her that it's a dog, she accommodated it and learned that not all that has four legs are dogs. And now she's trying to include different kinds of cats and dogs in her schema. Next slide, we have this figure. So, equilibration. So, it is a balance between assimilation and accommodation, and it is achieved through a mechanism, meaning equilibration. So, muna siyang process of balancing assimilation and accommodation to achieve a state of cognitive harmony. So, it is a process of balancing assimilation and accommodation. It's like a mental seesaw. So, you know seesaw, right? It's like trying to find a balance between fitting new information into what we already know and changing our thinking to include new ideas. So when we can successfully balance assimilation and accommodation, we reach a state of equilibrium. This allows us to move smoothly to the next stage of cognitive development. So here, this equilibrium here, it occurs or when it happens when we struggle to balance these two processes. So the child might feel confused or frustrated because their existing knowledge isn't working. This can lead to a period of disequilibrium, where they need to learn and adopt to reach a new state of equilibrium. So if dili balance ning kining duha ka processes, mo occur ning gitawag nato na disequilibrium. Next, we have here the stages of cognitive development. Each stages describes how children acquire knowledge and the nature of intelligence. The first one, the common one, the sensory motor stage. So, 0 to 2 years old, learns through reflexes, senses, and movement actions in the environment, begins to imitate others and remembers events, shifts to symbolic thinking, comes to understand that objects do not cease to exist when they are out of sight. It's called object permanence. So, in this stage, for example, we have here kanang a baby who learns that a toy hidden under a blanket still exists. So, object permanence. Another example is that when a baby plays a peekaboo and makarealize that the person kay wala na wala but just simply out of sight. So, anhina stage is later. PJ believe that as children grow, they begin to think about what they need to accomplish, how to do it, and then act to it. The next stage is the pre-operational stage. So, it is from 2 to 7 years. Begins about the time the child starts talking to about 7 years old. Develop language and begins to use symbols to represent objects. Has difficulty with past and future. Thinks in the present. Can think through operations logically in one direction and has problems understanding the point of view of another person. So in this stage, makalearn na ang child og language. Children begin to use language and symbols but their thinking is still egocentric. They struggle with conversation here. What's conversation, by the way? It is the understanding that the amount of something remains the same even if its appearance changes. For example, a child who thinks that a tall or narrow glass kay daghan pang sud na juice than a short, wide glass, even though they contain the same amount. So next stage is the concrete operational stage. It begins about first grade to early adolescence, around 11 years old. Here, they can think logically about concrete problems and understand the past, present, and future. So in this stage, children is like makadevelop na og logical thinking skills and can perform mental operations on concrete objects. They understand conversation and can classify objects na unlike sa pre-operational stage. Example, a child who can arrange kanang objects by size or color. So ang hina stage is maka-arrange na ang mga bata according to the size and color, for example, sa mga shapes. So the next one is the formal operational stage. Can think hypothetically and deductively. Thinking becomes more scientific, solves abstract problems logically, can consider multiple perspectives, and develops concerns about social issues, personal identity, and justice. So this stage is characterized by abstract thinking and the ability to reason hypothetically. So all the earlier mental abilities have been mastered na dalhin na stage. The adolescents can now think like a scientist. Kay why? Adolescents can now solve complex problems, mga problema, and understand abstract concepts. So, for example, a teenager who can debate complex philosophical ideas. So, that was an example of formal operational. So, moving on, we have here different teaching implications. You may think what are these teaching implications? So, teaching implications are very important because they help teachers use Piaget's theory of cognitive development in the classroom. They show how to make learning more active, individualized, and meaningful for kids. So makahelp niyo siya to create a learner-centered classroom where kids can learn at their own pace and in ways that work best for them. First is focused on the process of children's thinking, not just its products. So here, instead of simply checking for a correct answer, teachers should emphasize the students' understanding and the process they use to get the answer. So for example, when we say here, is that in a math class, rather than just checking if student got the correct answer to a problem, pangutanon sila or to let them explain their reasoning sa ilang reason and the steps ngano they took to solve it, or the steps. So this helps the teacher na makasabot on the student's thought process and identify areas for further development. Second, recognition of the crucial role of children's self-initiative, active involvement in learning activities. So in a Piagetian classroom, children are encouraged to discover themselves through spontaneous interactions with the environment, rather than the presentation of ready-made knowledge. So what does it mean? Here, so like for an instance, instead of like presenting a science experiment with all the steps outlined, provide students with the materials or gamit and ask them to design and conduct their own experiment. This encourages them to explore, make decisions, and learn through hands-on experience. So the next one is they emphasis on practices aimed at making children adult-like in their thinking. So here it refers to what Piaget referred to as the American question, which is, how can we speed up development? He believes that trying to speed up and accelerate children's process through the stages could be worse than no teaching at all. So, here we must avoid pushing young children to solve complex problems or like perform tasks that are developmentally advanced for their age. Instead, mag-focus ta sa activities that are appropriate for their current stage of cognitive development. Okay, para maka-allow sa ilaha to progress naturally. So next one is the acceptance of individual differences in developmental progress. So here, Piaget's theory asserts that children go through all the same developmental stages. However, they do so at different rates. Because of this variation, teachers must exert a special effort to arrange classroom activities for individuals and groups of children rather than the whole class. So, let's say, for example, in a reading class, some students might be ready for chapter books, while na uban, others might still be working on basic phonics or struggle pa sila. Let's say, provide a range of reading materials and activities para maka-cater to different levels. So, it will allow each student to engage with the content at their own pace sa ilaha rasad na level. So, in addition, Webb 1980 also recommended some considerations for teachers to ponder upon in their teaching practices. These include the following. Consider the stage characteristics of the students' thought processes in planning learning activities. So, for example, kung mag-teach of algebra to younger students who are still developing kanang concrete operational thinking, we must use physical objects like blocks to help them understand equations rather than abstract symbols. So next one is use a wide variety of experiences rather than drill on specific tasks to maximize cognitive development. Example here is that instead of just practicing addition problems repeatedly, let's include activities like cooking, magluto, measuring ingredients, playing board games that involve math, and solving real-life math problems. Moving on, next, do not assume that reading adolescence or adulthood guarantees the ability to perform formal operations. So, it means like, diba, some high school students may struggle with abstract reasoning. So, provide concrete examples and hands-on activities to like support their understanding. Next one is, remember that each person structures each learning situation in terms of his schemata. Therefore, no two persons will derive the same meaning or benefit from a given experience. Like, for example, for an instance, if two students that read the same story, one might focus on the plot while another might be more interested sa characters, motivation, based on their own experiences and interest nila. Next one is individualized learning experiences so that each student is working at a level that is high enough to be challenging and realistic enough to prevent excessive frustration. So let's say, for an example, offer like different levels of reading material in a literature class so that maka-advance ang readers can tackle complex texts, while others can also work with simpler ones that still maka-challenge gihapon nila. So next is provide experience necessary for development of concepts before the use of these concepts in knowledge. Language, what it means here is that before teaching the concept of like fraction, when we say fraction, that students use visual aids like pizza slices to understand the idea of like dividing a whole into parts. So that's it. Next is consider learning an active restructuring of true rather than an increase in content. So example here, instead of like simply memorizing historical facts like saguna or engage. So instead engage students discussions para ma-correct sa ilang learning and develop their own interpretation. Next is make full use of wrong answers by helping the student analyze his or her thinking to retain the correct elements and revise the miscomprehension. Here, if a student can solve a math problem incorrectly, go through the steps with them to understand where their mistake occurred and guide them to the correct method. Next is evaluate each student in terms of improving his or her performance. Example, track a student's progress over time by noting improvements in their writing skills rather than just giving a single grade for their final paper. Moving on, avoid overuse of materials that are so highly structured that creative thought is discouraged. So avoid here, instead of using only rigid worksheets, let's provide here open-ended projects where students can explore and present their own ideas creatively. Lastly, use social interaction in learning experiences to promote increase in both interest and comprehension. Example here is to organize group discussion or collaborative projects where students can share their insights and learn from each other's perspective. So that was it for the teaching implications. So experience. Experiments using Pythagorean concepts and tasks in the classroom have proven their soundness in explaining cognitive development among learners. Campbell and Ramey, 1990, reported that low SES children who had early educational intervention developed the ability to conserve earlier than those without intervention. Moreover, the proportion of no conservers in the low SES intervention group did not differ significantly from that of their more advantaged peers in the first and third years in early elementary school. A study among high school students tasked to perform formal operational tasks indicated that at certain grade level and subject areas, public school science students who demonstrated formal operational logic tend to receive higher grades than non-formal operational students by Syrie and Gold, 1975. So, next slide. More than testing the applicability of the Pythagorean test, Webb, 1980, argued that rather than concentrating on the learning of specific Pythagorean tasks and operations, the classroom really should be structured to encourage constant thinking on the part of students. So, she pointed out that the verbal rule, cognitive conflict, and task analysis may be used in a wide variety of settings to increase the incidence of transfer. So, to her, better comprehension at a given stage may be a more appropriate goal than force acceleration to the next cognitive level. So, from the experience we've read, this passage is about how Piaget's theory of cognitive development can be used to improve change. So the key points there was that Piaget's theory works. How Piaget's theory works. Studies show that using Piaget's ideas in the classroom helps children learn. For example, early intervention programs help low-income children develop certain thinking skills earlier than those who didn't get the help. Second, thinking skills matter. Another study found that the high school students who could think in more advanced ways, formal operational stage, tended to get better grades in science. So focus on thinking, not just tasks. It's important to note that to encourage thinking in general, not just magtudlo og specific skills. Teachers can use different methods like discussion, questioning, and analyzing tasks to help students na makahuna-huna more deeply. So, next is don't rush. It's better to help students understand concepts at their current level than try to force them to move to a higher level too quickly, which is maglisod ang mga students. So, in simpler terms, Piaget's theory is like a guide for teachers. It helps them understand how kids think and learn. So, studies show that using Piaget's ideas in the classroom can help kids learn better and even makakuha og better grades. Instead of just teaching specific skills, it is important to create an environment where kids are encouraged to think and solve problems. It's also important to let kids learn at their own pace rather than pushing them too fast. So overall, why is it important to understand this theory for facilitating learner-centered teaching? So why? John Piaget's theory of cognitive development provides a valuable insights for teachers to create effective learning experiences. So, by understanding the different stages of cognitive development of Piaget and the milestones with each stage, teachers can tailor their teaching strategies to meet the specific needs of their students. So, instead of mag-focus sa mga correct answers, teachers should prioritize understanding how students think and the process they use to arrive at their conclusion. So the key challenge for teacher here is to design lessons that guide students to make sense of their experiences and grasp the concept being taught. Creative teachers can also greatly benefit from the principles and ideas outlined in Piaget's theory. So, excuse me. Before I end my discussion, I want to share a quote from Jean Piaget, which is, "If you follow the child, you can find out something new." This quote, attributed to Jean Piaget, reflects a core principle of his theory of cognitive development, that children are active learners who construct their own understanding of the world. So, if you follow the child, this emphasizes the importance sa observation in understanding sa how the children think. Diba? Piaget believed that by carefully observing children's actions and interactions, we can gain insights into their cognitive processes. And you can find out something new. This highlights the discovery aspect of learning. Children are not just the passive recipients, as what I've said, of information. They actively explore, experiment, and make sense of their experiences. So by following their thought process, we can learn about their unique ways of understanding and problem solving. So Piaget's theory suggests that children's thinking progresses through stages, each characterized by different cognitive abilities. As children mature, mag-move sila through these stages, building on their existing knowledge and developing new cognitive structures. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned a lot and have a great day ahead. Godspeed. Thank you.